friends, this is the Miss. Yeah, don't look at my hair. This is the Miss Wolfie from our half-acre homestead with the tea break. I'm lying, actually. It's a coffee break because, well, I have a cup of coffee about once every 6 months. And I really needed it today because we've been working really hard. Anybody who's been looking at my Facebook page, my Facebook page is under Beverly Wolfie, Beverley, Wolfie, Wolfie. And that's another thing, folks. If you're not always getting updates or announcements that videos are that I'm uploading videos, I almost always upload them and then post them to Facebook. So that's another way you can find out to get regular videos. I'm exhausted. One pig is done, sort of done, and one deer is done. And tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to go out and get my doe. And then we're going to pop another pig. And November, when November is done, most of the food preservation will be done. I got, oh my God, so much done. We got 25 packages of ground venison pork, which is 5-to-1 when it comes to venison to pork, because the pork is just the trimmings. Now, we did trim a lot of pork and pork fat for sausage meat, but I made that sausage meat first, and then the rest of the pork trimmings went into the venison because, and I'm telling you, I never even got to see this buck. It's just went bing, bang, boom in the fridge box. Now, many people, Howie, I'm recording, so please don't walk naked by this doorway. Okay?
I might.
Don't you dare. Oh, he's in a towel. He a silly man. So anyway, a lot of people have asked us, what are the most important tools that we have in our homesteading endeavors? And this is something we were just talking about, eh, dear? The things we just couldn't live without anymore when it comes to homesteading and our doing our own meat and stuff. That Toledo meat saw, we may have only paid $150 for it and then got a new blade and all that. I'm telling you, folks, if you keep your eyes on auctions, on Kijiji, on Craigslist, how old is that meat saw, dear? It's got to be 30, 40 years old.
Probably more than that.
Probably more than that. It's an old one. And I'll tell you something, that has saved us so much time, okay? And there's a reason that has saved us so much time, because we used to do this, cut all this by hand. I mean, with a big old hand pump meat saw and stuff. And our fridge box. If you haven't seen Papa's video on how builds a meat locker, please go look at that. That has saved us so much blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not kidding. Because when there's just two of us, okay, like my kids can't come up till the weekend, right? And they all work and stuff. When it's just two of you, you want to pop that deer or pop that pig, and you want to let it hang. Otherwise, you're stuck cutting up and butchering and wrapping meat that hasn't hung properly yet. Because what hanging does, and you want a week at least, a week to 10 days to 2 weeks. The old days, they used to hang sides of beef until they grew fur, which was a full 21 days. Apparently that's illegal now. But what this does is it relaxes the meat, okay? It actually starts the decomposition process. That's what relaxes the meat. They get, the rigor mortis has to be broke out of it. You don't want to physically break it out. You want it to relax. So what that meat box has allowed us to do, and that thing will hold 2 pigs or a pig and a deer. It allows us to pop or dispatch, clean, skin an animal and hang it in the box and let it hang for a week to 10 days. Okay? It also gives us breathing room so we're not trying to spend an entire weekend going crazy cutting up meat and getting it into the freezer. The refrigerator box, which Howie built, allows us time. Okay. And when there's just two of you and you're both 50 plus, you don't have a side of beef in you anymore to bang off in a weekend. Eh, dear?
No.
When we had our steer, he was 10 months old and he had to be 500 pounds live weight. Heartbeat, easy 500 pounds live weight. And it took us 48 hours. And out of those 48 hours, I bet you we only slept 7 or 8 to get that thing dispatched, cut up, and in the freezer. And he would have been a lot more tender if we had a hanging box to put his, quarters in. So a good meat saw. It can be an old one. It just has to be a good one. It has to, a good meat band saw, a refrigerator box, a good block and tackle. Otherwise, how are you going to hoist your meat, right? I mean, we got a winch at an auction, but Howie hasn't got it all tweaked out and make sure it works and all that stuff. But he's going to put that up in the hayloft so that we can pull bales of straw up without Daddy having to, stand on the tailgate of the truck and throw them up through the thing to hoist up meat. So we've got the fridge box. We've got the meat saw. We've got a block and tackle. You want a good set of knives and a very good knife sharpener. What else do we want, dear? A good vacuum sealer. Whether it's, what? A winter home in Tahiti. But then we wouldn't be here to eat all this glorious meat. I mean, there's trade-offs for everything. Good set of knives and a good vacuum sealer. Now, I buy all my bags now and my bag rolls at uline.com. And no, they're not paying me for this. And no, they're not giving me any free stuff for this. I'm just telling you, uline.com, when it comes to packaging, everything from jars to bags and wrapping and sealing systems. Okay. You can get your bags through them for probably half to 2/3 of the cost of what you would pay in the store, because you're buying from, you're cutting out the middleman, you're the direct buyer. So you're buying directly from the manufacturer. So these are things you all need to think about, right? Like, yeah, it would be really nice if we had a whiz bang chicken plucker. And Howie has the instructions and the fingers. He's just got to have the time to sit down and figure that out, because I'm not going to raise too many more chickens for meat until we have a way of processing them faster. We're not as young as we used to be. So anyway, Daddy's venison, I bet you we got 100 pounds of venison and we got 100 pounds. We added it up, 99 to 100 pounds of pork. And some are pickling and some are curing for smoke, and the bacon's pickling and all this stuff. So these videos are all going to happen, all these new videos. I have no idea what kind of video footage Papa took of him cutting up the meat on the meat saw, but he did. And we got some footage. I got bits and snippets of everything. I don't know how it's all going to play out, but there are videos coming, okay? Especially, the bacon and the hams and the cottage roll and the corned beef, which is actually corned venison, and all that stuff. So, I mean, we just got home Sunday and we were baked. We were like a couple of slugs on Monday. And then Tuesday, we started butchering that pig. And then today we did the deer. It's an ongoing process. So today's Thursday, by the way. When you see this, it'll be Friday, the 17th of November. Hey, happy birthday to my niece Tara, way out in Nova Scotia. Toad, we like to call her Toad. I don't know why. But I remember her birthday because whenever, B17 or I-17 comes up on bingo, Mom and I always say Toad. So this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, if you're going to be a homesteader and you're going to process your own meat, do yourself a favor. Whether it's secondhand or brand new, get the right equipment. It makes life a lot easier. Even if you build it yourself like Papa did the fridge box. Take care. God bless. More videos coming, but I'm not going to be doing a lot of comments because we have a lot of work on our plates. All right. Take care. God bless.